Welcome back. You're still watching Breakfast in Bed. Like I said, we have an interesting topic today and we have a guest in the house. But if you notice, considering and looking at the last general elections, 2023, many Nigerian youths had a thing or two to say.
Yeah.
It might not have been face to face, but then a lot of banter went on X, Twitter. People have been talking, Nigerian youths are now saying so much about politics. We want to know what governance is all about. We want to know those who are representing us. And sometimes Nigerian youths actually want to be the ones to represent their constituencies or their people. But how well are Nigerian youths doing in politics? Are they given enough chance? Are the older ones actually stepping down and saying the younger ones should take charge? Are we actually the future leaders of today, or rather the leaders of today, or we're still looking at the future? Now we're talking all about that today, and considering that in Lagos, the local government elections will be holding next year. So, and it's grassroots, and many people grassroots, well, the youth should actually start from the grassroots. But how well are Nigerian youths doing? In the studio today, we have the Secretary to Yaba Local Council Development Area, Mr. Detayo Oyemade. Welcome to Breakfast in Bed.
Welcome, sir.
Good morning. Now let's get straight to it.
Yes.
Do you feel Nigerian youths are doing well in politics, Nigerian politics?
Well, first and foremost, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. When we talk about Nigerian youths in politics, a lot of them just started joining us maybe about 2 years ago in the last general election. And participation is progress. We've got to understand that. So the fact that they're participating, are we where we're supposed to be? Count myself as one of the youths. Are we where we're supposed to be? No. However, if you look at some local government, the local government elections coming up, there's a lot of youths that are participating, that want to run for chairman or mayor, what you have. So the way I'm looking at it is progress is participation, participation is progress, and that's contributing to our political atmosphere. Because obviously when we're talking about the youth, we're talking about the largest percentage of the population, right? They're also the largest consumers. That's why you see a lot of advertising is directed towards them. So once they start to understand their purchasing power, their intellectual capacity, and their political manifestation, their participation will grow. So I'm not worried about it. The fact that they're participating and they had a loud voice, which we all heard in the last general elections, it's something that's good for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I like the fact that you said the youths are the ones that have the power. Right?
Yes.
And I think the youths know. I know, and I'm sure you guys know, that we have the power. But now, are these leaders, the older people, are they giving youths the chance? Or is still
How can we be integrated into it?
Yeah, that's a good question. They're not going to give us the chance. That's not how it works.
Oh.
When they, if you look at our history, when they were in charge, they took power most of the time. Obviously, we had a military system. We're going to have to take it. We're going to take it in the ballot boxes. We're going to take it in the way we organize ourselves. We're going to take it in our purchasing power when we dictate to the marketing firms what kind of product we're going to support or not. So we're going to have to take it. They don't cede power. That's not how politics works. We're going to have to take it. And this election coming, a lot of us are going to take that power, especially on the grassroots level.
Okay, I like the fact they said they're going to take it, but let's look at influence here.
Yeah.
Influence really make it very easy for the young people to take it. Because if an older person who has been in politics for 20 to 25 years, obviously has a form of
Experience.
monetary wealth and experience, comes out to say, I've been doing this for this long, excuse me, and I have this to give you, whether we like it or not. Politics not in Nigeria, everywhere. It's based on something.
Self-interest.
Yeah.
So, and it comes out to say I have this level of influence and monetary wealth to give. So how easy would it be for the young person who is just 25, 26, rather 30, saying, well, I don't have any much experience, but I know and I have the faith, I believe that I can change this country. How easy? Even at the ballots, even on the ballot papers.
It's not supposed to be easy. If you want transformational change, generational change, which is what we're talking about, It's not supposed to be easy. So that's going to come with the organization. I've seen young people raise money for things that were not as important to their lives. And they raised millions of naira for that cause because they believed in it. So if you have a young person that goes out there and says, this is my plan, this is how our lives are now today, and this is what I intend to do to make our lives better, and they can sell that message to young people, the money will come, right? The money will come. If you look at Obama's first election in 2008, a lot of it was crowdfunding. A lot of it, he didn't have the powerful people with him. Hillary Clinton did, because she had the machinery. She was the former first lady, former senator, so she had the machinery. But he had the people with him. So you had young people online that every time they got a paycheck, they gave $5, $10 out of their salaries. And that was consistently coming. So at the end of the day, he ended up raising more money. So it comes with the organization. Obviously, if you're going up against the institution, we're talking about transformational change. We have to do things differently. We're going to use online. We're going to use where we have the advantages to our advantage. Obviously, the online space belongs to a certain generation. We're going to use that. Even in the last presidential election, Peter Obi was the least funded candidate, but he still won 12 states. And they had the least money. And he still won 12 states because young people decided that's what we're going to support. Obviously, I didn't want them to because I belong to a different party. But just to be intellectually honest, that's what happened.
TJ, I'm going to cut you there.
Yeah.
You didn't want him. Is it just because you belong to a different party? Or because
Obviously.
of his ideologies? Which one of them?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, you know, if you play for Arsenal, the last thing you want is for Liverpool to win the league.
Okay.
Right? That's human nature.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we're different teams, but intellectually speaking, I looked at his record. He had a track record. He was governor for 8 years. And I looked at his record, I looked at what he did in the state, and I'd seen that it couldn't match the other person that I was supporting, what they did while they were governor. So I just judged them. If you take somebody's resume or CV, like I say here, if you take somebody's CV and you just look at them without looking at the personalities, the president, now current president that I was supporting, had a better resume. That was just how I looked at it. And obviously it also helped that it was in a different party.
So looking at politics, what are those things that obviously should be put in place that would attract youth to want to like run after it, not just talking, like I really want to go for this?
First and foremost, we need a certain level of honesty when we're communicating with young people, because the mistake people make is they think young people don't know anything about the system, but they do. Because young people encounter the system more than most adults. What do I mean? They're the ones that go to get their last shot, their all their identification when they need it for schooling, when they need their driver's license, they engage, right? So they know how the system works. They just don't participate in it because it's against their fundamental principles. It's dishonest. The system is dishonest, so young people don't engage in it because when you're young, you're still ideologically pure, right? You still have your innocence, so to speak, right? So you've
not been corrupted.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea of bringing them in is just be honest with them and let them educate them on the benefits of government and the power of government, because government does have a power to transform your life, whether you participate or not, whether you vote for me or not. If I'm elected, I'm still going to make decisions on your behalf. So you have to understand that. If you want me to make decisions on your behalf, you have to have a say-so in who gets there. So that's where we need to start engaging them and let them know whether you participate or you not sure, you go still decide how your life will be. So if you want to get them out for how your life will be, enter the game. That's how I see it.
So as a young politician, what are the obstacles you face? Because I know that most of your bosses are way older than you and more experienced. So as a young politician, like what are the obstacles, issues you faced, problems and all?
To me, the obstacles, those are very good questions. To me, the obstacles are more cultural than it is intellectual, right? Because of our culture, we respect our elders. We have to communicate with them a certain way. So a lot of people might not be able to get their message across because you don't want it to come out as disrespectful, you know, or being uncultured, right? Especially in my case. So The obstacles, the way we navigate around them, but they'll tell you to wait your turn. If you have an idea, you have to make sure you sell it in a way that it's their idea. You get what I mean? In order for them to get a buy-in. And there's a generational divide, right? So the way I would say something, and the way I would see things is quite different because they're going to be stuck in the way they've been doing things. And I'm looking forward to 20, 30 years of how things should be. So that's really the obstacles. But, with time, that fades.
So now you said you have to make sure that you talk to them to the way they will accept it.
Yeah.
So are you now trying to tell us now that these people have to leave
They're going
for things to change?
They can't be around forever. Things are changing. And I'll tell you why things are changing. For instance, you have many governors, and including the president, they increased the minimum wage, right? In Lagos State, it's almost about 75,000.
They increased the minimum wage, but yes, we have a very high cost of fuel.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with
Subsidy
that.
of electricity is gone.
That's where I'm going with that. That's a good question. Now, when we talk about the subsidy, when they remove the subsidy, it's part of the factors that caused the high inflation, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
However, when they remove the subsidy, where did the money go? This is the question a lot of people don't ask. The money went to the states and to the local governments. The states are 3 times richer than they were before this man became president. The local governments are 3 times richer than they were before this man became president. He's the only one everybody's cussing his name. But God's honest truth is a lot of responsibility lies in the hands of the state government and the local governments. So now, he took the money from a few elites that none of you here know their names, and he transferred it to the state and local governments. That's actually what government does, a progressive government. It's called wealth redistribution. The bottom-up approach. You take the money from the top, you spread it. It's like the Robin Hood mentality. That's what he did. However, on the state and the local level, we're not doing enough. We're not making sure we subsidize those things that inflation has made unaffordable for our people. So that is the impasse that we are right now. Right? So when we're talking about the subsidy, if we're making an actual intellectual argument, removing the subsidy was a good thing. The methodology in which we're implementing it is what is not up to par.
I like the fact that you said local governments are richer now. So I want to come down to the local government, which is the grassroots.
Yes.
If we want to be very honest, some local governments, I wouldn't say many, because I've been to some and I say that I improved, but some local governments are dealing with lack of development. There are times when, because I know that even your inner streets are meant to be fixed by the local government, and you're trying to drive out of your streets, and you're in your car, and you have to dance before stepping out. And then you speak to your local government chairman, because even the councillors are nowhere to be found. I do not know my councillor, but I know she's a she, and I know she's going to come back next year because she wants to contest, or someone will come back. So, how do we now, and you meet this local government chairman to say, I need to fix my road, and they're answering you like, we're doing you a favor. So how would you describe grassroots politics? It seems they're just there lounging. I feel so. You're secretary to the
they're
local
flexing.
council, so you understand better. For me, I feel that they're just flexing and enjoying.
It might look like that. And in some local governments, you're probably correct. Now, I can speak for mine. In my local government, what we do is, before we even do the budget, we have something called the stakeholders. And what that means is we invite people from different sectors, the CDAs, the Residents Association, the lawyers, the doctors, all parts of our community, we bring them in. And we let them know this is what we're going to invest in capital projects, right? Because by law, there's a certain percentage you have to spend on infrastructure, right? There's a blueprint that's set up. You can't just go there and do whatever you want. It might seem like that. But by law, you got to spend a certain amount on capital infrastructure. So we sit down and we communicate. The traditional rulers will tell us, come into our communities and help us improve it, things like that. Now, this is where we go back to participation. Because even with all those stakeholders that we do, we're still not doing enough. And I'm speaking of my own local government. So imagine others that I know that they're not up to par. And my local government is central. We host Unilag, we host Yabatech, so we have no choice. We've got to have some sort of infrastructure to be able to accommodate, our community. Because we're pretty much, anywhere else in the world, they'll call us a university town, right? So we have to have some level of infrastructure to make sure our commerce is functioning and that our human capital, which is our highest resource, is flowing adequately. Now, back to the participation. Because they know most of you guys do not participate, is why they get to do what they want. It's that simple. If they ever held the stakeholders and they see 5,000 youths there, trust me, they're going to have an emergency meeting and they're going to go back to the drawing board. But because they know you guys don't participate, they only see the old people that come because those ones know how to get largesse from the government, right? So those are the people they see. And they know you guys are not going to participate, so they're almost not accountable to the largest part of the population, which is the youth. But once the youth starts to exercise their power, once they start questioning their leaders, okay, what did you do with this? We know this is, because all these things are public. The allocation that comes in is public information. You can literally come to the local government and say, we want to know how much came in from the federal government. And they have to tell you. It's public information. So if they know that you start paying attention to how they spend money, how they collect money, trust me, you will start being part of the plan.
So I'm going to get something. So I can walk up to my local government. I can walk in there and say, how much did you guys spend? How much did you guys receive?
Yes.
It's my right to do that.
Of course it is.
Okay, so
it's
I
your
think,
money.
So in the first of Nigerian youths, I understand. You know, let's be real, TJ. Let's be very, very real here. Now, if many young people do that, they might get beats. They might bundle them out of the local government. Let's be real.
Yeah, it depends on the method in which you do it.
Okay, so that there's a method.
Because like I said, culture is a big part of our society, right? So if you go in someone and you're a young person and you're antagonizing, you're aggravating, that you've already given them an excuse
Okay.
not to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But if you go there and you let them know that, okay, I know I have access to this information. You were using my money, I want to know how you used it. They'll tell you to go to the Budget and Statistics Office. Now, they might try to stall you depending on the local government, saying, oh, we can't, printer doesn't work, all that stuff. But that's fine. The fact that you know, and they know you know now, that you're supposed to have access to that information, trust me, changes everything.
Okay, now, Job,
Sorry,
okay.
one very big question, okay? Like very, very big, and be honest with me. Like, do you think the youth of this generation are ready for politics?
Yeah.
Like, very big question.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, in the way that they have everything it takes. Because nobody was asking to go on at the age of 30 whether he could govern this country. They just gave him the power, and they did anyways. Right? So they have all it takes. Some of these young people we're talking about are the ones coming up with the startup companies that are changing all our lives. So the intellectual capacity is there. They just do not want to participate in something that they believe is fundamentally against their principle. So we have to make sure that the environment we're creating when it comes to the politics adheres to the way they think. Young people I cannot write a propaganda for a young person and say go sell it. They're not going to do it because it's against who they are at the moment. Maybe when they get older and they got lots of bills to pay, they might lose that innocence. But for now, it's difficult to them. So are they ready intellectually? Of course. There's nothing we're doing in government that most young people cannot do adequately. That's just the God's honest truth. However, in the brutality of politics, are they ready to participate in that? That is what I'm not sure. That's why I said no, yes and no.
Okay, now, finally, before we let you go, now let's just wrap this up with local government election is next, I guess, around July next year.
Yes.
So, what's your message to Nigerian youths concerning grassroots politics and local government elections next year?
For them to make sure they register, educate yourself on the different candidates, organize yourselves, and make sure you participate. Make sure you participate from the beginning of the process. Not at the end of the process when the system is already set. At the beginning of the process, make sure you participate. I'll give you an example. If young people, which 60% of them, if you look at the voting survey, supported Peter Obi, right? You got about 60% of them that voted for this man. Now, if they had supported him in the primaries, it would have been a different outcome, right? Because he would have defeated Atiku in the primaries. He wouldn't have gone to the Labour Party. He would have defeated Atiku in the primaries. He would have been able to use the PDP machinery to defeat us. We were happy when they split. Because once they split, you split your votes, you split your support. So that was the best thing that happened to us, right? But young people, you have to participate from the process. So that means engage in the primaries, you know? Have a candidate in every party. Because all the parties, the gods on the street is they have the same ideology. Don't let anybody fool you and tell you if Peter Obi was president, you would have removed the subsidy. So would have Atiku. They have the same ideology. The difference is their methodology, right? So don't let them bamboozle you on, oh, this party is for youth. No. They all have the same ideology on how to move Nigeria forward. It's just that the method of implementing it is what we see, and we don't know that until we elect them.
Okay, so we need to go. So I like the fact that you talk about participation is very important. Many thanks for coming. Itayo Yemadi. That's the Secretary to Yaba Local Council Development area. Very thanks for coming. Guys, we need to
Yeah, we have to go. We have to go.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. I really enjoyed you on the show today. At least I was able to understand and
Well, I
learn.
would just, venture into it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe councillorship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need to go?
All right, I am Adedayo Kende signing off. See you next weekend.
Well, it's been an amazing time with you on Breakfast in Bed. Please do stay safe, enjoy yourself, and be very good. I am Bababumi Agbibi. Stay safe.